Okay. So welcome everybody here for the second part or the second time that we're meeting today. Some of us have already met this morning. This is the opportunity for rebirthing breath workers and or people interested in the breath to come together every last Thursday of the month. And we have morning and evening meetings so that we cover the whole time zone. This morning we had guests from Australia, and so the topic for today is healing the death urge, or how the death urge also shows up with our clients, for those of us that work with people. Or we could also extend that and say, how does the death urge maybe show in our life? And so if I do a little recap of the meeting this morning, we came to the conclusion that it's best to focus on the antidote, or on the, and Oscar might say some more about that, his project about saying yes to life. And the death urge actually is every anti-life thought. So it's actually all the times in the past, in any lifetimes, in any condition that we experience, where we did not surrender to the life challenges and we did not say yes. We said, well, no, I don't want that, and that's painful, and we created trauma or pain with that. And I mean, it sounds strange to say, okay, why should I say yes to all the suffering that I had experienced, or the trauma? And so when we are working with people, the people that come to us, or in our own life, they have experiences, they had experiences that often they have a challenge to say yes to. So, and based on those experiences, they're expecting more of those negative experiences. We have an unconscious conditioning which reprograms and keeps us in the loop of recreating the same problem, challenge, till we actually heal it and can be at peace with all these things. So how do we deal with this saying no, or the death urge to life, when we are working with people, or how can we transform that? And so that was the basic original question, because sometimes we do have clients that actually see their death urge as an entity, as a power, and how that power has run their life and created accidents, any form of self-sabotage, failure in relationships, failure in the professional success, that we cannot just sweep it under the carpet. We do have to address it. In what way can we detect the death urge, and in which way can we transform it? And so that leads us to the idea and the actual practice of physical immortality. So because the negative would be, and we talked about that this morning, to analyze, okay, this has been going on in the past, and being fully aware of that, and which direction do I take from now? Where do I want to go with that experience in the future? Or how can I transform it that it's no longer painful, that it that I can be excited again about the beauty of life, and the miracles and the wonder of being physically incarnated on this beautiful planet. Okay, this is open for anybody who has to share something or likes to share something. Just put the hand up, like the little hand that you have in your options, and I love to hear what you have to say about that. Okay, Zana. And you could give a little introduction again after you unmute yourself. Then,
yes, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Do you want me to repeat what I said earlier or just Jana?
Yes, please, if you like, yes.
Okay. So I was introduced to rebirthing. Actually, my first introduction was physical immortality. And when that came up, my whole being just jumped in joy. I can't tell you how exciting that felt. Everything in me said yes. And that was 1981. And I was introduced to rebirthing through Jeremy Burnham, which I mentioned. And Jeremy was actually a close friend of Leonard Orr. And we were the first rebirthing training in South Africa, actually. And I then practiced rebirthing in Johannesburg, and we had groups and 1 year seminars with Hilda Light. We had a lot of fire sittings, and it was truly very. And Dave Breathe, have you ever come across his name, Heike? Dave Breathe. He was a very well, also good friend of Leonard Orr, and he ran groups here. So we had a very thriving rebirthing community in Johannesburg. I moved to Cape Town, and Cape Town's energy is different. And sort of here I started more kind of my physicality came on board more. So I did my Alexander Technique training, I do yoga and all the other things that kind of help me to integrate the inner child's work and the breath work that I've done. I do want to say something about breathing. When I started doing Alexander work, obviously the whole posture changes and the breath starts to function better. So that's what I want to say for now. And then to say about the death urge, I've been working with this thing for a very long time. And for me, Heike, funny enough, today before the meeting, I was kind of contemplating something that was very vivid for me, that so many people just say they don't want to be here. They don't want to be on the planet, that they find human beings repulsive. And when we watch the news, it's almost like a repulsion to believe that we are part of a human race. The divine created in the image and likeness of God, humans behaving appallingly. And what I notice a lot of the time, people just say, I don't want to be here. And they choose death as an escape from the pain, not just their childhood and trauma, which is another thing, which I'm sure you're addressing quite well. But just generally, for me, being on this beautiful planet, part of the joy is having encounters with beautiful humans. When I went to see Babaji in 1983, honestly, it was just ecstatic. I think I just cried most of the time because I couldn't contain the love and the emotions that were pouring out of me. And then recently I went to Crete to my family's gathering, and it was something very similar. It was being on Crete, felt like I was in the Himalayas, and the music and the family. And I could see how much excitement I had to live. And when I don't have it, it's lonely sometimes. And of course, I love speaking to Oscar because we connect on the mastery path, and I love that. We are masters in training. But to not have other humans around us who are uplifting and exciting, it's what I seem to observe at the moment, Heike. And even my breathwork friends, they kind of just slowly dissipated. Some of them even died, and some of them just, and I feel like this is what I want to address, is that the death urge in a lot of people comes as a result of very unfulfilling sight that they have around us, that people are not fun to be with. And who wants to be immortal on their own, right? I mean, I agree, Heike, we're doing something exquisite. We don't know, we're going with the urge for the divine in us, right? And we want to embody everything that we are, but having other friends to share, to know that, we care about each other. We're exciting friends to be with. Like I mentioned, those two events, being around someone physically can be such an exciting feeling, and there's so little of it. And that's what I saw, that the death urge comes almost from that place. Not, I don't say me because I sometimes feel a bit low, but I always feel alive, and I'm so grateful because something in me is who I am, this life. But just to comment on the death urge, I feel like that's something very, very big. And also, of course, there's lots of beautiful books, but some of the people died already that wrote the books. I always wanted to meet the actual writers, because to me, that's the exciting bit, that someone writes something beautiful and I want to be with them. I want to meet them. And some of them are not there. And others, when I met them, I was a bit disappointed that they didn't work. They talk almost like something like that. So I feel like it's something for us to maybe explore and see, maybe I've got some limiting thought around people, which I'm willing to examine. So that's my long thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. There's many important points in that. So, how is the life urge on this planet actually developing, or is there forces like when people the whole day have their face stuck in a computer or in in um in artificial intelligence? How can we feel thrilled the same way that we can feel thrilled when we are in the forest or when we have a gathering with people and we are laughing together or we are enjoying something together? And um, so the power behind yeah, driving the death urge, so to speak, or making life into like becoming robots and machines and taking the communication, the live communication to yeah, and extinct, making it extinct ultimately, right? Because if I'm my whole day watching some movies my cell phone, I'm not really alive. The mind thinks, but I might be living in my mind experiences, but my physical body can be immersed in that energy, but it's not like I'm moving my own energy. I'm living the life of other people, and my life becomes dead. So we are living in an interesting time with the artificial intelligence that actually tries to get us into machines and not alive people anymore. So children that grow up now have communication disorders, and there is many things that are increasing in children because of that, because they don't have personal relationships so much anymore. Many parents notice that their children most of the day are just in their room doing computer games. And what are the consequences to our life urge when when our creativity, our imagination is living in somebody else's world? So, what we want to talk about today is actually how can we also in our breathing sessions or with the work that we do, how can we detect and address, analyze the past experiences that we could say are anti-life experiences or experiences where we are not fully in harmony, because that's a life in harmony is life and the physical immortality is a result of a life and a mind in harmonious thoughts and feelings. So, how can we support? And that's what Zana said. How can we support all the people on this planet, or how can we inspire them to become fully alive? So that's basically the point that we are. And so Leonard had the five basic great ideas of the century. And what Zana said, one of them was spiritual community. So that was one of the most important things that Leonard always liked to create, not just talk about it, but to create. And so participating in the 1 year seminar, the 1 year seminar was a group of people, same group of people that meet once a month, to share the breath of life and to share exciting ideas. So Leonard started that very, very early, when he actually created, even before he created rebirthing, he had 1 year seminars. And then the next idea is spiritual purification, which is doing the practices that make us more alive. And he called that spiritual purification because it is purifying the mind and the body, so that all those no's, or all the upsets and hurts and pains, that we can let them go. So the third one is spiritual enlightenment, the basic simple idea that we create our life with our mind. And so spiritual enlightenment in the way that we are aware that we create our reality. And that's wonderful about having good ideas, uplifting ideas that make us more happy, because they vibrate and resonate in our physical body, so that the physical body can also vibrate that yes. And then the next idea was always Babaji. And Zana already mentioned that you had the honor to be there with him. And I remember your amazing story when you went there. And so for Leonard, it was always important. Oops, I moved something. That the saints or the masters are actually the support that we have, that we do need and deserve and have support of real masters that have that level of consciousness, that they are living in that reality. And so for him, spreading the knowledge that Babaji has been on the planet, and Leonard was also blessed to meet him many times, so that to share about that being, or those beings. He called them the immortal yogi masters, not just Babaji, but the others, so that we have like a holding point, or an anchor, or um, uh, a suggestion that it's possible, that we have examples what is possible. And so we have the first three, the community, the enlightenment, and the practices. And then we have Babaji. And then the fifth one was for Leonard, was money, enlightened government, meaning we can't be ruled by people that make decisions for humanity that are based on greed. So we cannot allow to give our power away to people that are run by greed. And so those were Leonard's five most important ideas for this time, and that's what he loved to talk about. So I would like to give it over to to one of you if you have anything to share about this. And yeah, Oscar, you would like to go next?
Yes, yes, I would like to go next. So, yeah, the spiritual community, I think which you mentioned as the first thing is, I think, super important. I had the pleasure to actually visit one of such a community. So there are people unlimited. Maybe they are not so much yet into spirituality, but I think they are going this direction finally because they kind of see that this is maybe they're going to the conclusion that actually this are the only hope for us, that we use the spirit to transform the body. So that's the only way which we could actually reach the final point of this physical immortality. So the spirit is fully present in the body. So yeah, and then so the community is super important, and I see it's because they have this community for many years. I think probably even more than 20. So they have gatherings 2 weeks a day, once online and once just in presence. And this is like in Scottsdale in Arizona, so very beautiful place. So they share different inspirations with each other. They
Twice a
do.
week, not a day. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, yeah, sorry, yeah, yeah, yes,
And
yes, yes,
they
yeah, yes. I was
exist since
yes, I meant twice a week. Thanks, Dana. Thanks. Yeah, so
and
they,
they
they,
exist since I think at least 40 years
yeah,
because
they
they are
exist.
early
Yes,
students.
yes, and
Yeah.
it looks that they are more into spirituality now, as they are actually even publish a book like Gospel of Longevity. So they are so much into teachings of Jesus about physical immortality. So and also and you could and when you are there, so you can really feel that this community there are, I mean, they're really good people and good, with really good great hearts. So that's they really support each other in this hard journey, and this is really beautiful. I really enjoyed the time with them. So I spent a weekend in Scottsdale, and then next thing is actually I also gave them like part of from Vedas, where the Vedas actually confirm that our immortal relations, so that the beautiful relationships between people are the Amrita, so the nectar of immortality. So those things, they actually provide the immortality to us. I mean, so the beautiful connections we have with each another and with each other. Yeah. So then yeah, that's so actually, if you want, maybe I can read this part if you would be interested to hear it. So it's like from Altara Veda. So it's the hymn of unity.
Please
So it's
read. Yeah,
actually,
thank you.
it's a really beautiful hymn. And then I can also say a few words if you want. Why actually from that you can deduct that actually the human beautiful relations between people are the nectar of immortality, because it's not like maybe it's written not directly, yeah, so that you have to kind of make the conclusions based on the text. How is it actually, how does it relate that actually to the human relationships? Actually the whole thing is about the beautiful relationships. So it's very, I would say, inspiring. And actually, I also read to them the hymn, as they were asking if the community is important. I would say yes, of course. It's and also this is very much in agreement with Leonard's. So we should really have such kind of communities, and so yeah, they and just I just provide some kind of feast so people can pick up what they want for now, so what they're ready for. Because some may not be ready for huge transformations, as you know, the rebirthing is offering. And so but maybe the readiness will come with the time. So once they will see the transformation of other people, so then they may see, I mean, okay, that will be beneficial for me. I will address those traumas, I will address these emotional blockages, and so on. Yes, so that's I think the whole point. And yeah, and it's really, so I yeah, as I said, so it was really beautiful experience with the community. There's people unlimited. Yeah, so if you want, I can read the hymn
Sure,
of
go
unity.
ahead. Mhm.
Okay, so this is like
And
the,
just let me say one thing why this is important to talk about in this meeting, because reversers also need community
yeah.
to hold the energy when we are working with people, when we are dealing with the depths of human trauma in some ways and working on the transformation. We need all the support that we can get. So that's why this is so essential.
Yes, yeah, so yeah, okay, so then actually, yeah, so this is the hymn of unity. So in Sanskrit is Samanasya Shuktam. So it's from Adhara Veda. Yeah, I'll start. So it's of course the English translation. Yeah. I make you of one heart, of one mind, free from hatred. Love one another as the unslaughtered cow loves her newly born calf. May the son be obedient to his father and of one mind with his mother. May the wife speak honeyed, peaceful words to her husband. May brother not hate brother, nor sister hate her sister born of the same womb. United, devoted to common woes, speak sweet and kind words to one another. I raise this prayer in a house which brings harmony among people, the same prayer by which the gods do not separate nor hate each another. Deferring to the elders, but united in purpose, not separated. Joyfully carry your shared burdens together. Come together speaking kindly to one another. I unite you with a common thought. May your water hole be common and shared your food. I harness you together to a common yoke. Worship the fire together, center like the spokes around the nave of wheel. I make your mind united and harmonious, bringing all of you under one spell of concord, like the gods guarding ambrosia, so the nectar of immortality. Make goodwill and harmony be yours evening and morning. So that's the hymn. And then if you want to hear why it actually, how is it connected, actually how they reveal that the beautiful connections between people are the nectar of immortality. So this ambrosia or amrita, if you want to hear it, I can also read it.
Sure.
So so it's actually in the verse 7. So the hymn explicitly links human harmony with the gods guarding ambrosia. So amrita, the nectar of immortality, divine life. So Deva Amritam Rakshamanah. So like the gods guarding ambrosia. So the text implies that God relationships are themselves this divine nectar of immortality. So in Vedic thought, the gods, devas, maintain immortality and the cosmic order, Rita, because they do not fight or divide among themselves. As mentioned in verse 4, their immortal nature, Amrita, is sustained through unity, mutual respect, and peace. So strife, hatred, and division cause the destruction of the household and community, symbolizing decay and death. Conversely, unity, shared food, water, kind speech, and mutual love act as a protective force that preserves the life and vitality of the family. So just as the gods diligently protect Amrita to maintain their immortal state, human beings are urged to protect their harmonious relationships. So concord among family members is treated as the sacred divine substance that must be guarded from the poison of hatred and hostility. So in essence, living in peace and unity allows humans to partake in the same eternal divine harmony as the gods enjoy. Yeah, that's
Well,
the
that's very beautiful, very beautiful. And so, Leonard, when I mentioned those five topics for the century, the Enlightenment part is that basically we should not eat the fruits of our mind, meaning that if I believe to be true and only my belief the right one, that's where we have the disharmony. As soon as I can detach myself from my own beliefs and see them as possibilities, and I would include the idea of physical immortality in that. That means that whatever I believe to be true is an option. But above that is a divine reality. And when we can live in that divine reality of harmony, then all the belief systems, they are secondary and they are not meaning, they are not as powerful. But now we are dividing in our household of rebirthers or communities everywhere worldwide because we believe our thoughts, our creeds, to be the only one. And we can't agree with other people when they formulate other thoughts and other belief systems. But the belief systems have, they have, if we have them, the bottom line would at least need to be that they're harmonious with everybody else on the planet. And not that is even the fact. I mean, people go to religious war because somebody else believes in a different name or different, call it a different form of the divine power. So the first step would be to not take our thoughts and beliefs so serious that we can fight over them. You know, when we meet with other people in a community, that we have the tolerance and the love and the willingness to just listen to that. And it has to be harmonious and loving and kind. Otherwise, I don't think we should be listening to it. Sana.
So as we're sharing, I see that things are changing. Like, for example, Timoteus now being with People Unlimited. Like, I went to visit them in 2001, 3, and 5. And there was a small aspect of it that I liked was the community, but there were things that I didn't like. And the same with my rebirthing groups. There were some things that I absolutely love. And looking back now, I see that a lot of those gatherings provided for me a place to heal myself, that I had to see what people were mirroring to me. And that though I thought this is my family of immortal friends, what I saw that they actually mirrored to me certain form of abuse that I experienced as a child. And I had to, exactly because we're obviously healing ourselves, I had to look at what aspects of me and even past lives those people represented. And I'm not going to go to depth now about it, but those encounters were very powerful for me. And so the people that I thought were my immortal friends actually also brought a lot of issues for me that I needed to look at. And where I am today is I'm grateful for all of it. And all I can say in front of you, beautiful friends, that maybe what we're creating is still coming. Because I forgot to be grateful for what I received from those communities. I wasn't ready. I was myself a very wounded person. We all have different issues. And one of my issues, let's say, I don't know if you can identify, Heike, I think rebirthers are very empathic, right? And I always had a
Hopefully.
boundary. I always had a big boundary with empathy because I started to feel everything in my body and I started to act out too much of other people's stuff. And again, I'm not going to go to details about it, but it was frightening at some point. And I think Leonard addressed it as he was constantly processing people and constantly to purify. For me, it wasn't so much that I kind of in that way, but I could see that I was manifesting things that were not of my doing. But it was some lesson that I needed to keep my boundary clearer. And I'm so happy to hear that, Oscar, you're having a very nice experience with People Unlimited, because to me, being around them, I didn't feel the spirit was strong enough. They were very much into too much intervention.
Well,
And
let's not go into the
okay,
detail about that
okay, thank you, thank you. But
community.
anyway, it was very powerful for me to experience the mirror that I received from my friends.
Yes.
And
Well, for Leonard, as soon as it enters me and it moves me into my emotions, it is mine. I can't call it somebody else's stuff anymore as soon as I have a reaction. So when we are in spiritual community, and I think that's the topic that we are in for today, yes, it triggers our past memories and we get involved that our reality gets colored by those memories that other people remind us of. And that is the challenge. So Leonard used to say, as long as we haven't healed the parental disapproval syndrome, meaning our fear of authority or hate for authority, our parents that that triggered or that treated us in certain ways, we will always betray each other. And so when we criticize people, that's one of the things also that Rudolf Steiner, I've been studying the anthroposophical philosophy a little bit. So it's like, but all spiritual teachers say that we have, when we are actually criticizing other people or putting them down, we are creating the disharmony. So we have to, and it used to be my tendency all the time. And my history with women, and in my ancestral and my relationships with the women in my family, there is so much of criticism and rebellion against, especially the female part in me, that would act out in my relationships too. So being able to live harmoniously in spiritual community, and the rebirthing breath work helps us to share about those hang-ups, and that we create compassion for each other. Compassion, understanding, love, and that we can see, oh wow, I understand now why you're doing these things or thinking those thoughts and acting out this, and then I can be in that harmony and that love. But that's a challenge for our human fellow men and women, and it's the challenge in us. How often do we fall out of love in a day when we say, no, I don't like this? How often a day do we fall into unliking, disliking something? And I also read just a couple of days ago, I read something in one of Steiner's books, or in a book about forgiveness. So when we don't forgive, like in a community, we have all the stuff that happened in a family life, all that happened in past lives with all the people that we met, things happen. And so if I haven't digested it and haven't made peace with it and haven't claimed my own responsibility in it, like I created that. So if somebody does something to me in another time, maybe another life or whatever, they have the right, if I do something wrong, bad to them, they have the right for my making up for it. So then the universe has to conspire and put us back together again so that I can make up for what I did, hopefully. Maybe it gets worse, then we have. But so that in that sense, forgiveness means that I really forget about it. And so that I can't make a story out of it anymore. And how many stories do we have? Our whole identity is based on in the community with the stories that we have about. We are not fresh usually in relationship. We have a history. And harmony would mean that history is not existent. It's only in present moment loving. And that's why we need rebirthing breathwork and the spiritual practices, because it's such a deep inner work. It's not just letting go of one thought. I mean, the thought is anchored in the physical structure, in the cells of my body, in different parts of my body. And in Steiner's book, again, that's what I wanted to come to. He says, in the future, now we are resisting the negativity. we are opposing it. But in the future, we would be actually integrating it, absorbing it, and putting it out transformed. And that is true love, that I can, I have one relationship with somebody and I've stopped it because I couldn't bear that destructiveness. And I had to say to myself, I just, I, I don't have a way of, I can only make suggestions. The suggestions are not received well. And so, do I want to participate in that or not? But if I had that ability to transform that instead of just saying, oh, wow, destruction, then it will give me a different power. And I think that's the power for the future when we talk about harmonious relationships, that we can see the destruction of things going around us, or people in thought processes that are about to destroy themselves or other people, and holding that space. And that's actually what we do with our clients. We're holding that space and we're helping them to find new suggestions, new ways of thinking about it. And it actually happens by itself in the breathwork session. But when we look at the world, oh wow, how much there is still that we need to transform. And so we can only start with ourselves and say, okay, I start practicing it. I'm living with everything in my environment in a way that I'm totally in harmony with what's going on. It doesn't mean that I have to behave the same way or that I can't say no to certain things, but that I don't drown in it and I don't have to repel it. So the death urge is part in all that drama and that struggle. And well, Oscar, maybe you want to say something more about choosing life.
Yes, thank you, Heike. I mean, I so much love listening to you all with all these beautiful words that you are saying. So yeah, I mean, I think each of us is kind of alchemist. So we do this transformation every day. So like this is the whole thing about the life. So to transform this no's into yes. So to keep on, so that because the yes ultimately, leads to all the happiness, joy, and all beautiful things that we can experience in life. So yeah, that's why I was saying in the morning that the difference between Jesus and the other, let's say, normal people, we could call normal. Yeah. So it was that actually he only had the word yes. So whatever happens, he say only yes. Okay, of course, yes. I'm into that. Yeah, 100% into that. And then, yeah, and how to make to us to bring more to see, willingness to say yes is actually to address the things which make us to say no, like all this death urge, which was called by Leonard Orr. So yeah, and all these kind of false beliefs which do not support life, or all the things which actually all these traumas, all the emotional blockages. So this is actually what kind of attracts the unpleasant experiences to us, which were actually meant to for us to transform them into something which is positive. Yeah, this is the whole thing. Yeah. So yeah, I think I will stop here. Yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful. And you see, we don't even have to transform the reality necessary. We could just transform my yes for it. Zana. Flavia, if you want to, anybody who wants to share something. then I have
I
to go.
shared this thought before that I always in my life thought I was too much. And I think that's what I've created. And that I wasn't safe to be fully me. And the people which I've mentioned really mirrored it for me very well. And so I am safe to be me. And I'm perfect as I am. This is what I'm supposed to be doing and being. And I think
Wonderful.
today I want to just ground it properly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, so in our work with reversing breath work or any modality that works, and for me, any modality that works with mind, transforming thoughts, that works with divine energy, where really actual energy is moving in the body, like that can be exercise. So the spiritual purification practices with earth, air, water, and fire. So any practice that helps the body to bring the prana and the flow of energy uh, into free flow without any blockages is what we call spiritual purification. And we don't have, okay, you only have to do that. I'm curious about all the methods and options that I have, and everything works in the category of either earth, that's everything with like movement and food, and then the water, any practice that we do with water, with flowing uh, in life, and then we have the air, that which is a breath, and then fire practices like the ancient fire ceremony, and and then we have, of course, the fifth element, which is the mind, which is just working with the quality of the thoughts that we allow in our mind. And so I can help my clients and myself to stay focused on my practices, because without the practices I'm just in the loop of doing lazy things, because the mind is ultimately, when we don't take control of it, it just runs the old patterns. So we it needs a bit of effort, it needs a willingness, and so the willpower is essential, and that's what human life is all about. We have to consciously create a choice that says, I love to be alive, and I practice things or I do things that give me that feeling. Walking in the forest, uh, going for a swim, all these things, they can be very simple. People might say that's not spiritual, but everything that's uplifting we could call spiritual. I mean, everything that brings me more into my divine power. And again, I would like to say, and maybe as a sort of like a completion also for today, um, we have to upgrade our thinking or our being above the ordinary thinking. Because with the ordinary thinking about day-to-day problems, I don't have the overall vision or connection. I don't experience the overall connection and truth, and that higher intelligence that gives me insights that are not possible with my rational mind. So Leonard called that the space between the thoughts, entering that consciousness where I am absorbed in peace and harmonies. I don't have to do anything for it. I am that. I am that divine being, that divine intelligence, and I'm immersed in it, and that's a different octave of life. And so striving, for me, that's striving to access or being being in that devalok, in that divine consciousness, that will enable me also to transform my physical reality. So it's not about keeping my organs intact. That's just one aspect, but it is coming from my divine essence. So if anybody has any more thoughts for completion before we finish this meeting. I think it was so wonderful and so rich. And it also adds to what we talked about this morning. We went into different aspects of it. And thank you, Zana.
Thank you, Heike. So nice to see you. And Timotheus, you are doing something very powerful without you even knowing about it. You do know, but the way you connected me with certain people that are kind of in a way put on hold, it's a renewed sight. And what you said, Heike, going beyond the limiting thoughts to a new place with those people. So thank you, Timotheus, for that.
You're welcome, Zana.
Lovely to see you, Heike. Nice to meet you. You, Flavia.
Yes.
Until next time.
Nice to
Yes,
meet you
so
too.
every last Thursday of the month we have a meeting. If you have a suggestion for a topic, it will be something for that of interest to the rebirthing community. So that will be helpful in supporting other people on their path. And the path is always, I mean, the paths are many, but the goal is the same, which is entering the state between the thoughts and entering divine essence and oneness and actually being home in our true nature. So, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah
Thank you,
Shivaya.
beautiful people.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so,
Heike.
so much.
And hope to see you at the end of July, August. I will be in the US, actually.
Oh, great.
I will be with Sarah.
Oh.
So, lots of love to all of you.
Same to all of
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Om